People are trying to decide whether the man-made disaster is worse than Mother Nature's disaster. From a deadly pandemic to a global movement for racial justice, to the death of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, to a Ukrainian flight crashing in Tehran, to a massive explosion at a Beirut port and the devastating Australian bushfires, the year 2020 has experienced its fair share of world-shifting events. Here's a look back at some of the shocking events that happened in 2020, some of which you may have forgotten about. Australia faced one of its worst fire seasons in history, beginning in 2019 and continuing into 2020, which riveted the world as flames burned a record 47 million acres, displacing thousands of people and killing at least 34. Researchers said the fires also razed rare habitats and killed more than 1 billion animals. Acting on the orders of US President Donald Trump, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force, Qasim Suleimani, was killed on January 2nd by the US military via drone strike. After months of speculation, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle shocked both sides of the pond on January 8th when they announced they were stepping down as senior royals. On January 8th, US officials estimated that more than a dozen missiles were launched from Iran on 2 military bases in Iraq housing American soldiers. More than 100 troops were diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. Shortly after Iran launched an attack on US troops stationed at Iraqi military bases, Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 crashed in Tehran, Iran, on January 8th, killing all 176 people on board. China reported its first death from the novel coronavirus on January 11th, days after the World Health Organization learned of the virus outbreak. On January 23rd, city officials in Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the global coronavirus pandemic, went under an unprecedented lockdown, impacting its 11 million residents as transportation in and out of the city was shut down. NBA legend Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 other passengers were killed in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California on January 26th. Bong Joon-ho's film took home the most awards, landing Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best International Feature Film on February 9th. Disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein was convicted of third-degree rape and first-degree criminal sexual act on February 24th. He was acquitted on the charge of predatory sexual assault. U.S. stocks took a major plunge on March 16th, amid mounting fears surrounding the coronavirus. The Dow fell a sharp 2,997 points, the biggest drop since 1987. One of the most highly anticipated sporting events of the year, the 2020 Summer Olympics, was officially postponed on March 24th due to the coronavirus pandemic. On April 2nd, global coronavirus cases surpassed 1 million. At the time, more than 51,000 people had died worldwide, and more than 208,000 had recovered. On April 9th, the 100th day of 2020, New York State alone had more coronavirus cases than any country in the world, with over 160,000 people infected. On April 20th, the price of U.S. oil has turned negative for the first time in history. The price of a barrel of West Texas Intermediate, the benchmark for U.S. oil, fell as low as minus $37.63 a barrel. Early May saw flooding in East African countries. The destruction caused by the heavy rainfall has killed hundreds of people in Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Rwanda, and Ethiopia. George Floyd was killed on May 25th by a Minneapolis police officer. The killing of a black man at the hands of a white officer touched out protests against racism and police brutality across the United States and around the world. An explosion that rocked the port of Beirut, Lebanon, on April 4th killed at least 160 people and injured about 6,000. On August 26th, Amazon enjoys a record $5.2 billion in quarterly profit as e-commerce sales exploded, making Jeff Bezos the world's first ever person to amass a $200 billion fortune. On October 14th, Colorado's Cameron Peak Fire surged to become the largest in state history. As of October 28th, the new record holder had burned more than 208,000 acres. UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock said at least 60 different local authorities had recorded COVID-19 infections caused by the new variant on December 14th. On December 19th, the U.S. election ended with former Vice President Joe Biden winning the presidency over Republican incumbent Donald Trump. This is all about the most significant and shocking events of the year. Which history-making moment have we missed in this video? Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel.